match. Pint were in the Glenbook in Anfield straight after Liverpool have done the decent thing. When I say the decent thing, what I mean is Liverpool are 7 clear of Chelsea with a game in hand. They're 9 clear of Arsenal, no game in hand. What that means is between now and the end of the season, to turn this around, across 3 game weekends, Liverpool have got to lose, and both Arsenal and Chelsea have got to win. And in Chelsea's case, Liverpool would still have a game in hand with which to turn this around. My point here is that this was not the best game of the season. It was not the best performance of the season. It was not stupidly exciting, but it was ticking one off. And Phil Blundell, I'm annoyed, Dan Austin as well, but Phil Blundell, I'm a little annoyed they've conceded first, because you're a bit like, lads, it'd be nice if we stopped conceding first from time to time, doing a bit too much of it. But apart from that, tonight was a great example of just ticking one off.
It was, that's exactly what it was. I mean, I'm with you on the conceding first thing, but it was different this time because I actually thought we've been really good. Like,
we have been
if
really good,
you'd have paused it when you went down for that free kick, which I thought was a bit soft by itself, but Jordan Ayew's the king of soft free kicks.
That man lives to win a free kick.
Honestly, right, if he played for Arsenal would be unbeatable. They would get 114 points every single season, because Gabriel and Saliba would be the first 75 goals centre-back partnership.
More goals than Derek Manfield.
Yeah, honestly. Anyway, we played well. If you paused at that point, said, do you think we played well? I thought we'd been brilliant. We started really well. Jones, I think, should have smuggled one in. I think there should have been another one as well.
Yeah, Jones should score.
We were just really very good. And then that found its way in, and you're a bit like, oh, that's a sucker punch. You're like, well, there's ages left. We'll be fine. And personally, I got to about 30, 35, and I was getting quite frustrated with what I was watching, because we looked a bit clueless and a bit like, oh, we're not really sure how we get the ball into the right areas to score here, because we were getting the ball out wide, we were just floating crosses in, and Yannick Vestergaard's having the time of his life going, sound this, and Conor Cody's like, I'm alright at this, I can deal with this as well, and we weren't remotely dangerous in any way, shape or form, and then the goal comes with what is, I'd say, one of my favourite things that happens on a football pitch, and it's when someone chases something down and gets a goal kick to the opposition. Their whole end's celebrating. 5 seconds later, Andy Robertson's away up the left wing, and we've scored about 8 seconds later. And they've been celebrating like, 1-0 half time this, because some idiots decided to fucking close someone down and go, be fine, no. Yeah, great idea. No, it was actually stupid.
There we are, Phil Blundell's got stuck in, which is good to see. It was one, Dan, where that moment just changed the game. In that, I think Liverpool would have been fine anyway, but it would have meant a nervy half time. It would have meant, oh my God, this could be a bit of a slog. Almost from the minute Gakpo's effort hits the back of the net, it's a different Liverpool. Straight away, Van Dijk's doing the sign of we go again here. And I actually thought they could make this 2. They could get 2 here.
They would have done it, there had been more than 2 minutes.
Well, which was insane, but it was 9 in the second half. So we end the situation where, from that minute, honestly, as soon as Gakpo's effort hits the net, there's only going to be one winner. There's only going to be one side that performs well, and it's Liverpool.
They scored at the perfect times, given the circumstances, to do it just before half-time and take away the excitement that they would have been going in with, and it's essentially back to square one, and then to kill any residual kind of sense of achievement they had just after half-time as well. I thought they just managed the situation and the circumstances really, really well. It's a lovely turn and finish, to be honest. The Ayew goal, he's a good player. But then, as Phil says, he didn't necessarily react from a technical point of view in terms of the right way. But I thought the attitude was generally good. No one felt sorry for themselves.
No.
Also, no one panicked. There weren't like loads of pot shots from distance and stuff like that. No one was on each other's backs. I also think the crowd wasn't on the back, which could have happened as well. So I thought everyone just kind of settled into, all right, this is a bit grim for now, but we'll be fine here if we all just stay calm. And that's what they did, and some players did some brilliant things because that's what they're capable of, and they've demonstrated loads of times already this season that they're capable of that. Liverpool were just patient, efficient and ruthless when they needed to be, and I actually really enjoyed what they did.
Well, I just want to talk about the idea that they've demonstrated it this season. I just thought there was a real sense of collective assurance.
Yep.
I'm almost annoyed, and we'll talk about it last time, we'll talk about it now, but I'm on ratings tomorrow, and in my head I was planning how I was going to give Salah 6 and be able to say afterwards, it's really good that Liverpool have won and won pretty comfortably without Salah having to have a starring moment, and then literally almost at that moment he goes and has one. The point though is that Salah's doing all right, but not spectacularly.
Yeah.
But the opener comes from Gakpo, the second comes from McAllister and Jones combining really, really well. It felt like it didn't need it didn't need the obvious magic, I didn't think, and that I was all in favour of. It felt like everyone had come to the party without anyone being truly spectacular.
No, I think even if there were in the first half some poor choices being made around the box, there were still a lot of people trying to be responsible and trying to demonstrate some sort of leadership and a bit of an idea. And Liverpool have been in sticky situations many times throughout the course of this season so far, and except for one time, they've found a way to either get something decent from it or 90% of the time just win anyway. And today they were in a tough spot and just won anyway, which they've done loads of times. And we've seen today two of the teams that should challenge Liverpool have found themselves in a tough spot, and one's drawn and one's got beat. And Arsenal were last week and they couldn't win, and so on and so forth. Liverpool had a couple of tough draws lately that I thought at the time were impressive draws, and I think as time has gone on, they already look like impressive draws compared to what everyone else is dealing with. Liverpool are having setbacks, and sometimes they're not starting well, or sometimes they may be giving something up from a position that they shouldn't do or whatever. But by and large, they just look at each other and say, oh, we'll just sort this out, won't we? And if you've got a group of characters like that, but also a group of players who are actually able to put it into action from a technical point of view, then you're just better than everyone else. And Liverpool at the moment are comfortably better than everyone else in every competition they're playing in. And the manager's been here, in the grand scheme of things, 5 minutes. That's unbelievable. Like, they realistically can't be doing any better. You know, some people were angry after them draws against Newcastle and Fulham, and I'm sure some people were really pissed off at half-time, or maybe still are now because it wasn't perfect. But I don't know what you could possibly want from a team at this position in a cycle more than this. It's amazing that they're a sensational team that's I think stitching together a really special season already, and that game won't be remembered very much by the end of it if it all goes the way that we would like it to. But my God, it was a demonstration of what the team is about.
What they want from now until the end of the season, Phil, without messing around, is I don't want any memorable home games. And it's counterintuitive to a lot of what you'd expect from football, but they're going to play 9 in the bottom 10. Tonight's the first one of that run that they're going to go on. And ultimately, I want to walk away from those games going, yep, everything that happened is what I broadly expected would happen before the ball was kicked. Because that's the job now. That's the job. That's the position they put themselves in with some other excellent performances. And tonight, I think that there's a number of them. I thought Gomez was terrific. And you get to remember that Gomez has done this already. He's gone through this process of how you just tick off league games. We were doing it in 1920 all together, and Gomez is doing it there today, and I thought Gomez was the business.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent. There wasn't... The list of players at our time I thought were good was not very large, and I thought he was one of them, in fairness. I think he had a good first half. I think his passing was not quite as good as it was in the week. I know there was the brilliant ball in for the second goal last week, but his passing, he offered a lot there. He was good at the aggressive, winning the ball quite high up, did that a few times. Got it wide really well. He was putting players in decent positions and enabling Liverpool to play, and the problem was Liverpool didn't play. But Liverpool want more of that the rest of this season, just sort of, it ends up comfortable. Like, the goalkeeper, I don't think he makes a save. I can't remember anything. I think the closest he came to a save was when Daka sort of mishit that one in the second half.
Yeah.
But other than that, we were very comfortable going backwards in it. Like, it just, even watching it first half, I was getting a bit frustrated with it, as I said earlier. But I was never at any point like concerned. It was more that, oh, we'll get into half time and we'll sort this out. And then thankfully we didn't even need to sort it out at half time, because I think that goal broke the back of it basically, because I think their heads dropped. I think they had mentally done this thing where it's like 2 minutes is great. We'll get to half time, we can sort of set up something at half time and go, right, we'll frustrate them second half. Took that card away from them, and I don't think it was a surprise how quickly we scored off the back of that, really, was it? Because I think that goal just really, really, really knocked it out of them, and that's what we can do. We just have to score a goal out of something, and all of a sudden you've broke the back of it, you've basically won the game. Even when it was 1-1, I don't think anybody went in at half time when going to be a problem this second half, did they? I think everyone was like, right, that's sorted now, and Liverpool professional to do it.
What they did really well second half, which brings about the second goal, which I think does almost kill the contest, is they worked those two channels either side of the penalty area, between the penalty area and the 6-yard box, brilliantly over and over. And there's just a point where, like, you can't defend the ball McAllister puts in that it could hit anyone and end up in the back of the net. Jones clatters it in over the goal line, but when you just keep getting in there and pushing into that channel, if you're Leicester, what you actually need is an outball. And you've decided you're not interested in an outball because Liverpool have pushed it all the way back. And that's what this side's capable of doing. And in the end, they just break them. It's just genuinely like wearing them into submission in that area. And that's where the goal comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like the goal. I really enjoyed that goal because it was the complete opposite of anything that had happened in the first half. We weren't doing anything that looked remotely like that in any way, shape or form. And like, I went on social media at half time and there's people giving it out to X player and Y player and Z player, and I was a bit like, I couldn't see how we scored a goal in that first half in terms of the style of play and what we were doing. So it's really encouraging for me that we've gone in at half time and went, you know what you were doing there? Don't do that. Do this. And then this, it worked, and it worked brilliantly because Liverpool just looked like a completely different team second half. It wasn't the same thing, and that's what I wanted to watch second half.
What they do, and you've just seen the goal in the background there, it's over my head, there's 3 or 4 examples of it before. What Jones does in order to keep the ball alive to end up putting in the back of the net is they drop anchor in the penalty area. And I think if that's what you're capable of doing, if you can look at an opposition team and just drop anchor in their penalty area, and there's a lot of teams coming to Anfield between now and the end of the season, of whom I think you can say that. If you can do that over and over, genuinely, the sheer force of nature means you will score a goal. Being able to do that is step one, and they showed the value of it there.
For a lot of that game, Liverpool were not playing like around the edge of the box. They were just playing in the box. And yeah, you can maybe defend your box from the inside because someone's a yard away from you. If you put a leg out, you'll block it or whatever. But you might just kick someone over at some point. Or someone's only got to shift it past you, 30 centimetres or whatever, and they've made a bit of a gap and what have you. And it just means that you're on edge as a defender a lot more than you would be if it's other 25 yards from goal, playing it left and right and back and forth and what have you. And it's so easy to fall in that trap. And I think, yes, Liverpool were crossing it in the air far too much in the first half. But what I did like was just how high up the pitch they were. It was, all right, you might be able to head this clear, but you're not getting out. You're not buying even 5 or 10 yards. You're going to have to head it, and then you're going to be stood still immediately after, and it's going to come back again in maybe the same way or maybe a different way. And I just think that's really mentally tiring. I know that if they had just kept lifting it in slowly, they'd have dealt with that all day. But once you do add a little bit more variety to it, once you do find just a little bit of space, it just becomes really fatiguing from a mental point of view, I think. And I thought that happened. I think as soon as Liverpool scored the first, but especially the second, I think they just sort of looked at each other and went, fucking hell, we've done what we could there. And I don't really know what else we're meant to do. And I thought the same.
They started thinking goal difference, genuinely. I think they started thinking, 3's all right, if we lose by 2 goals and we get a goal on the board, I think that's probably all right.
Certainly they went 2-1 down and there was no, right, how do we get back into this? How do we score again? How do we level it?
There was a bit about them sort of maybe with about 15 to go when they were like, oh, hang on, this is a 1-goal game and there's 15 to go. But they just couldn't get out. They tried and they couldn't get out. Like the Szoboszlai booking is sort of one of those where they were nearly away, but they just didn't quite have it in them. And also we got near them, and it's also annoying he's got booked because he's out on Sunday, which feels like a slight flaw with not playing him. That he's managed to come on for 15 minutes and still managed to get himself a day off on Sunday. That was quite annoying. But yeah, look, they just sort of accepted a lot the last 20-25, didn't they? And went, well, we'll take this.
Did you watch City?
Yes.
So, to Dan's point of, you can be 25 yards out and then you hit the resistance and you can't work your way through it versus what we end up doing today. I think it's a massive difference. I think it's the thing that City have lost. City have lost that ability to drop anchor in the penalty area against poorer sides and just basically go, sorry boys, at some point the round thing goes in the rectangular thing because it just has to. The magnetism happens that way around. They've lost that, and seeing us today was a really good example in that period where you could see that we've got it at the minute. We can get into your box, and if we can get into your box, then all it takes is one player doing something pretty good, and it's going to end up in the back of the net.
Yeah. The players we have relationships with each other, and they work well together. The difference between that and City today is City just looked like some lads cobbled together, and it didn't work. Whereas once we started playing football like we should be playing football second half, they couldn't live with us really. Like we weren't peppering the goal or spectacular or anything, but there's the goal, there's the 2 goals. There's Salah has a toe poker goal that he could have done better with. There's the Núñez one, which I thought was a pretty good save by the keeper when he just
Great move as well. Great move.
Lovely football. There's a lot of good football where we moved them about and created half a yard of space. You do that against those teams, and you'll win these games. And we haven't come up against that style of play many times in Anfield this season. So it's sort of thing like I despise most of the first half, but it's sort of all right because they're out of practice ultimately at it, and they've had to work out and they've realised what works and what doesn't. So it's probably in reality gone just about as well as it could have done.
The next team they're facing at Anfield is in the league are 14th. The team they're facing after that at Anfield are currently 18th. Yeah. I think that's worth saying. I think I'm right in saying, Phil, who did he play after that at Anfield? Ipswich, Bournemouth away, and then it's
Wolves.
Then it's Wolves, who are currently 17th. And that, that's the way in which it's going to go. That's the direction of travel with it. Listen, this is post-match pint with the Anfield Wrap. We put this one out for free because it's Christmas and we thought it'd be nice. So to you for watching and us for doing that. Hope you're enjoying it massively. We obviously want you to subscribe. We want that all the time. Coming up is a massive game against West Ham United away. This league will be won by what Liverpool do away from home, I think, especially in the next 4 games. West Ham is the first of those games, and then they've got a week off to prepare to play 14th in the league. So, that'll be pretty straightforward, I'm sure we can all acknowledge. And then they play Tottenham in the League Cup, and then they find themselves coming up against Atkinson Stanley, a.k.a. the big one, and then it's Nottingham Forest away, the second of the
might well finish second.
Well, it could be the second best team in the country at the minute.
The league has got a mad shape to it. It's basically like 15-16, and Nottingham Forest and Leicester, except there's just one team over the hill.
Yeah, that's good
mad, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like 50. Go on.
I just wanted to say that my favourite thing that happened today was when Van Nistelrooy on 95, for no discernible reason, took Conor Cody off, as though he was just like, you've all earned a chance to boo him. we took the lead, fair play, you've come back, you've won the game, have yourselves a lovely Christmas boo. There was no reason to take him off that I could sell. He's just gone, you know what, these hate him, let's give them a good time.
It genuinely had the vibe.
Do you know what? So there's also a chance that he's got it the complete opposite way round and gone, he used to play with these, he's come through the academy.
I'd love it if that's what happens.
Give him a
nice clap for him, bit of confidence.
And then he's like, he hears people booing him and he's like, hang on, what?
It was really good.
What's going on here?
I enjoyed, it was almost like a belated blue and white shite. Hang on, blue and white shite.
Oh, hang on, that's him.
Yeah, in the ground. Oh, I forgot about that.
No one gained anything from any extra time being played in that. Never mind 9 minutes for whatever reason it was in the end. Aside from it set it all up for that. Yeah. And my thanks go to Ruud van Nistelrooy for giving us the opportunity.
In 06-07, I was at Sheffield United away first game. And on about 70, they were at we had a corner at our end. And Unsworth put it out. And I shouted, fuck off Unsworth, blue and white shite. And it was like everyone went, oh yeah. And then they got loads of grief from our end, and he was made up.
Do you remember when
he made Unsworth stay? He was like, turning around like, come on.
Remember when he signed for Aston Villa for a week?
Yeah.
Insane. Didn't like Birmingham and just got off.
I'm very pro Unsworth.
Very good.
Very pro Unsworth. I love the way he took the pens.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Don't understand how he scored so many, because surely at some point the keeper's just going to guess.
No. That's the way in which
Julian
it goes.
Dick style.
We've got to talk about the main man, because he yet again chooses to be the main man. It's an outrageous finish.
Yeah. As much as I've seen him score almost all of his amazing goals, both at Anfield and everywhere else, and I still didn't see that coming. I thought he might well take a shot, but from that angle, and he hit it really hard as well. It was just, he can still take your breath away. He can still do things that shock and stun you. And
I was just sitting there thinking genuinely, he's quite 6 out of 10 today, Salah.
Yeah.
One of them, isn't it? He gets to have one every now and again, and then he does that. And genuinely, I burst out laughing. It hit the back of the net, and I burst out laughing.
I laughed as well. He just does things that are so thoroughly daft. Like, they're amazing and they're brilliant because they add to all this amazing data that he's got. And maybe we've got the best version of him ever right now. It might genuinely be true. But he's doing things that are pure thrill as well. That will never show up in a book or when you look back at his career in 20 years' time or whatever. But the amount of times that he's just made you beam with joy or laugh at something amazing that he's done, it's just staggering. He's my favourite Liverpool player ever. and I think he'll be hard-pressed to ever be surpassed, to be honest.
I don't know what footballer could take that.
I know.
He's my favourite player ever as well, and I've got no idea what footballer takes that mantle off him.
It's hard to conceive of a human being that could possibly be built in a lab that would eventually pass what he's done. And just the things that he's made you feel over all them years, and I do hope and think that it will be a good few more years as well. There's absolutely no sign of the fella being any less impactful. I think as time goes by, with every game, it feels like he's more of a leader in the team. He's just tremendous, and I love watching him play.
The crowd. Like, I think he's always loved the crowd,
yeah.
But I think like he's now hitting a new level of loving the crowd as well. Like, I think it's underrated. From the minute he turns up, Watford away, I think he loved it. He's had a real sort of connection of, no, this is me. And because he doesn't give that many interviews, and at times he comes over a little reserved, I think that we often miss that. But I think you can draw a direct line between the way he is in front of the crowd after he scores that goal at Man City in 2018, all the way through to today, where he just almost wanted, and I mean this with the greatest respect, he just almost wanted his teammates to fuck off, because I'd like to be with these.
He loves watching the crowd celebrate.
He does.
His biggest goals, whether it's Southampton away, the one against United at Anfield when they effectively won the league, the belted against Chelsea in 18-19. City, he likes to stand and look at the bedlam that he causes and think, I feel amazing right now, and I want to look at how amazing they feel as well. I think you often say that the people or players get it, and fuck me, does he get it?
Yeah.
He gets what the point of football is. He gets that it's about being brilliant, but that it's this collective, social, spiritual thing. I genuinely think his religion plays a big factor in that. He gets the value of community. What he represents, who he is, and the type of player he is just perfect to watch, but also so perfectly suited to us. And what are the chances of a young lad who's got a bit of talent in Egypt when he's 6 or 7 ending up actually doing it for us? It's honestly it's amazing to be alive and be a Liverpool supporter at the same time that he somehow has ended up playing for Liverpool. It's a privilege.
It is a privilege, and it'll go on. You know, we'll find out more, I think, next few days on contract and bits and pieces. But for me, there's also just a determination, I think, to lift everything this season from him. Lift absolutely everything. And I'm just adoring every minute of him. As I say, even today when I'm thinking to myself, he's having a bit of a quiet game. He then just pulls that out the bag.
He was having a quiet game. He wasn't particularly involved first half. He's nearly involved. He's like, he got the ball and he's just nearly doing something, or a defender's just quite, like, you know, nicks the ball off him, or his ball doesn't quite come off and gets blocked or something. He was nearly involved, and then it's quite funny that the goalie was nearly involved and then the ball was in the back of the net. Because he sort of has it, and like I was sat almost in a line behind it, and I'm like, there's nowhere. What's he doing here? Oh, hang on, and the keeper's the same as well, because the keeper, like, it doesn't particularly go in the corner. The keeper's just so like, hang on, where? Oh,
by the way, the keeper has a good game.
Keeper does have a good game. He dominates his box well.
It's his debut.
Was it?
Yeah. They brought him in because they couldn't play Danny Ward again.
Well, yeah.
Is he young or an alpha?
Yeah, no, he's coming to the under-21s.
Oh, he might be really good.
Yeah, he was decent. I thought he did well. Made a few good saves. Looked fairly competent with the ball. He looked decent, but he had no chance with that goal, did he? Because it was past him before he realised he'd shot. And I don't think it was in the corner. I don't think it was especially hard. It was just speed of thought meant I can put this ball in the back of the net before they've even realised I've shot. And that's exactly how it happened, and that's what players like him do, isn't it? When they are having these 6 out of 10 games, which I think was probably about the right number for them at that point. When they're having these 6 out of 10 games, they just do one thing and you're like, oh, hang on, good him, isn't he? And he is. He's unbelievable. It's ridiculous how good he is.
Man of the match?
It's hard, that. I genuinely don't know. But McAllister was quite good. I thought he aggressive on the ball. His passing was good. First half, he was on the few who seemed to move the ball around really well. His ball-in's good for the second as well. So yeah, I'll go McAllister, I think.
Man of the match?
Thought McAllister and Robertson were good. Thought the left side was good. The turn and pass from Gakpo for the Salah goal was amazing.
That's very good.
I'm going to say Van Dijk. I know he didn't have tons to do, but again, they went the goal down, and I think he set the tone of we're not having it and we're going to be fine.
Did you get on
The
the
passing
one
was
second?
really good, and he's actually been man of the match in loads of games this season, and never gets it because everyone just expects him to be impeccable. So I'll just say Van Dijk.
Did you get on the one second half where he's chasing down one of their centre backs? And I was like, hang on. What? Like, I hadn't even noticed he was there. All of a sudden, he's like in the centre back's face, chasing backwards. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Brilliant footballer.
It's ridiculously good.
He is ridiculously good. Listen, this has been Post-Match Pint. I hope you've enjoyed it massively. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much to the Glen Book. As ever, thank you very much to Ash for pulling it together. We've had Dan, we've had Phil, and listen, you'll have got book tokens for Christmas. Everyone always does. So Chasing Salah by Simon Hughes, to imagine the 6-year-old boy that Don Austin's talking about, because ultimately that's all we're all doing all the way through the year. We're chasing Salah, but you know who's really chasing Salah? Chelsea, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest. I've got no idea what the Mancunians are doing. See you later.